Hola Amigos. I am positive, no mistake about it, that if my husband, although suffering Bullous Pemphigoid, continue seeing the doctor that you are about to meet, today he will be alive. And I want to share with you this incredible doctor that I begged her to come here. She's very busy, she's very, very, very famous, but maybe she can save a few lives. So thank you so much for listening to me. I can't wait to introduce you, la doctora Ludmila Zaytsev. Is that correct, doctor, my pronunciation?
It's beautiful, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Doctor, you are helping so many people, doctor, that we are suffering stress, depression, insecurity, failure, and we cover. It's like when we put makeup, I have some makeup right now, well, we cover the same way, but when that moment take over you, we need doctor like you. So I hope that you understand my accent.
Of course
I have a few questions for you that I'm sure that a lot of viewers will have the same question if they will be here. Okay. So doctor, so many thousands and thousands of people in the same position that I am.
Yes.
Please tell us first how you can avoid suicide and then how we can survive the victim. And I don't disturb you no more.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so something that I remember one of my professors said when he talked about suicide, he said that remember that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So whatever seems like an insurmountable problem right in the moment, it's gonna pass because everything changes. So this too shall pass, right?
Okay.
How do you avoid it? Be honest. Reach out for help. If you cannot talk to your spouse or your child, you can always talk to the doctor. And doctors will give you resources. Just be honest about it. Don't say that I can handle it myself, because sometimes you can't. And even though it might be difficult to admit, reach out for help. Make sure they get enough sleep. So the sleep schedule is...
We are in America, doctor.
I know.
It's
like
ideal. In America. Nobody sleeps in America.
Well, some of us do.
Not me.
Okay, so hobbies, interests, very important. Because all of us have something that we're passionate about. People who are going through depression, they lose that passion. So helping them reconnect with what it is that they're passionate about. Like music for you. Someone might be passionate about art. Someone might want to go and help at the animal shelter. Something that they're passionate about. Just to get them out of that shell. Reach out to your friends. Friends, you reach out to the person who's been withdrawing.
But
so
people
recognize
are afraid
that.
to doctor.
Yes.
You are talking in the open, but everybody is afraid to say, I have depression, or I am insecure. The majority is called self-protection. If you put we call it in Hollywood, you have to have an alligator skin.
Yes.
I'm not sick, I'm perfect, everything is beautiful. If we can talk with friends and everything and not be afraid to say what is bad enough, we're going to feel better, right?
Yes. I mean, it's good to have a friend that you can trust that much. In today's world, unfortunately, there aren't too many people that have that, with social media and virtual friendships.
Yeah.
So some people post it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever that they're considering and thinking. And if you see that one of your friends posts something like that, it's very serious. So just reach out to them. Reach out to them back channel and just say, hey, I saw that, I'm concerned. Is there anything I can do to help you? It can actually save a life.
Okay. So doctor, I know you have a lot of experience dealing with depression. We are living in a very difficult world. My grandparents and my parents did not live the rhythm that we live right now. How can you notice, talk with the audience, when one of your patient, not your patient, in that case was my husband or the neighbor of my friend or their loved one or their partner start losing interest for life? How can you start helping these people like that?
unfortunately, depression and anxiety do not just happen overnight, where you see a very immediate change in your loved one. Rather, it's a gradual change. And so sometimes people don't notice that their loved one is sleeping. But you're right. So people who are depressed, they do tend to withdraw from social contact. They tend to spend more time isolated, staying home, not doing things that they're usually enjoying. Also, people become more tearful, sad. Not necessarily, not everyone, because you're right, people tend to put on a mask. Appetite. That's one of the things that people might not necessarily recognize. So people who are depressed, they can actually start eating more. They're eating their emotions. Or they can actually stop eating because they don't care to eat. Their appetite is suppressed. Same goes for sleep. Some people tend to sleep more. They don't want to get out of bed. Other people have trouble falling asleep. Their sleep pattern is not their normal pattern.
What can we do to help each other when those symptoms show up?
Well, first of all, be open to a conversation. Don't be accusatory. Oh, why don't you want to spend time with me? Why don't you do this or that? Actually be open to ask, I've noticed a change in your behavior. What is going on? Be ready to listen because you might hear something that you don't like to hear.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
That happened to me.
It's easy to say that, oh, I know you how you were before and you were a very strong person. You can deal with it and kind of sweep it under the rug rather than saying, I hear what you're saying. You're going through some rough time. How can I help you? Can we look for help outside of home? People sometimes have trouble bringing up those conversations with friends because of shame. Unfortunately, mental illness is still very much taboo. There is stigma. But talking about it in the family, it's very much recommended. You don't have to go to see an expensive psychologist, for example. There are many community centers that offer reduced fee services for people who are depressed. There are also groups for people who are depressed, and they're on a much lower pay scale. There is help, free telephone help for people who are thinking suicide. So suicide helplines, something to be aware of.
Victim of suicidio, that we love each other very much. How can we survive?
That's rough. Suicide is actually much more difficult on the family members and friends than on the actual victim of suicide, because they have to live with the knowledge that their loved one has passed on in such a violent fashion. And frequently the support system that would be there if the person died of natural causes is not always there, because first of all, people don't know how to deal with that. Family and friends, they may not be comfortable talking about suicide, so they remove themselves from the family of the victim, and so family feels isolated and they're not getting help. So how can you deal with that? Well, first of all, forgive yourself.
We deal with you. We deal with, I want to celebrate life. I've been 5 weeks in hell.
Yeah.
Because you live with what about if?
Exactly.
A doctor,
what if?
What about if is the worst thing that anybody can live. And many people right now, the most I'm researching about suicidios, the most I know that is almost like epidemic, doctor. Please help us how to overcome the what about if.
Well, first of all, there is no way to know what if, right? Accepting that you will have to live not knowing all the answers. So that's where that forgiveness starts. And it's forgiveness for the person who committed suicide, but also forgiveness for yourself, because there was no way that you would have known or could have known.
Right.
And recovery for you, it's unpredictable. So allowing yourself time. Don't expect that to be done in 1 month. That's it. There is no such time limit, because everyone grieves differently. if you start noticing that you are falling into deep depression or even having suicidal thoughts, this is really a good time to talk to your doctor and reach out for professional help. There are groups for survivors of suicide victims, for sure, because it's important to be around people who have the same understanding of what you're going through.
I'm going through, my sister is going through, my son is going through, but we are thinking turn the super tragedy negative situation into very positive. And it's an instant to say, let's make sure that nobody goes through what we went through. And we are thinking seriously today, after talking to you, go to celebrate life. Celebrate life in any kind. Today, celebrating life by now sharing your talent and your advices with the audience. It's a celebration today. I want to celebrate life. I want to celebrate life with all of you. And if we can help somebody, please reach to the doctor. I know where you live.
You don't know where I live. You know where my practice is.
I know where you practice.
Thank you.
And you are very calm and you have so much knowledge and you have a lot of experience in your life to try to understand everybody's problem. But suicide is the last choice, okay?
Yeah.
And it is many ways to avoid that, to ask for help to professionals.